this is Ambie from Board Game Blitz, and today I'm continuing my top 100 games as of the end of 2023 with these caveats. I'm going to be doing my top 40 through 31 games. I have a playlist with the whole list, so you can watch the other videos with the other games in the list as well. But onto the list. My number 40 is Crokinole, the quintessential dexterity flicking game. If you like flicking games, you should try this. It's got no theme, it's just pure flicking and skill, trying to flick a disc into a hole. And it's very simple rules, but people can get really good at it. And it's really fun just flicking discs. And it's really nice playing on a nice board. The problem is they take up a lot of room and they're expensive. But when you're playing on a nice board, it just feels really nice just flicking the disc. My number 39 is Phantom Inc. Team party word guessing game. In this one, there's one word that both teams are trying to guess, and each team has one person giving clues. The other members of the team have question cards that they give them, like what subject is it related to, or if it were a food, what would it be? And then they're answering the questions by writing down one letter at a time. You won't know the other team's questions, but you see the answers. And your team will cut off the answer at some point after they think they have enough information. So you're gonna have these like partial letter answers that you're thinking, okay, is this answer a chair or is it chasm? Like what else starts with CHA that could be the answer to this question? And the other team is trying to like match those together with the answers that they know of their questions and trying to figure out the word. It's a lot of fun. It can be really hard figuring out the connections in the word, but it also has a lot of funny times when people cut off the word too quickly and are super confident but completely wrong. I don't own the next two, but they would also be on this shelf. But my number 38 is So Clover, another party word game, but this one's cooperative. In this one, each person gets cards that they're putting in a 2x2 grid, and the cards have words on all sides, and you're trying to give clues for each pair of words on the edges of the grid. Then you're mixing up the cards and everyone's trying to guess what order the cards were in to make those clues that you wrote down. And you're trying to do that for everyone. I like word association games and team games, cooperative games. So like this is a fun cooperative word association game. And then number 37 is Just One, another fun cooperative word association game by the same publisher as So Clover. But in Just One, you're going around taking turns. One person has a word that they can't see and everyone else sees it, and they're trying to give a one-word clue for the person to guess that word. Everyone's giving clues, but then if two people give the same clue, they cancel out and the person won't see them. So you're trying to give clues that point to the word, but like kind of obscure that no one else will also give. And sometimes it's like everyone gives clues that are not obvious, and then it's really hard to guess the word. Or sometimes a lot of people give the same clue and then there's only a couple clues and it's really hard to guess the word. So yeah, Just One is a great cooperative party game if you like word games. My number 36 is Ghost Stories, a cooperative game where you're pushing back ghosts and trying to survive and keep this village alive. The game has a grid board and you're moving around doing different actions that are on each tile, trying to gather up tokens to help mitigate die rolls that help you defeat ghosts. And basically every turn, like more ghosts are coming out, and if too many ghosts come out, then the tiles flip over, you can't use them anymore, and then the village dies. So basically it's lots of planning, trying to mitigate your dice rolls and be able to defeat the ghosts that you need to in order to stay alive. It's got a similar feeling to Yggdrasil, which I mentioned earlier in the list, with like just staying alive, pushing back monsters, ghosts, trying to stay alive. I guess I like that kind of cooperative game where you're almost dying all the time. Number 35 is Wavelength, which is another team or cooperative party game. In this game, there's a dial that's pointing you to a place that you have to give a clue to, and you're giving a clue based on a spectrum card that tells you like hot and cold, or like never on time and always on time. And so you're trying to give a clue that's in that spectrum somewhere that matches where the dial is pointing. And then everyone else is discussing where they think it is. And it always leads to very interesting discussions, like what would be the most always on time thing? Like it obviously can't be all the way over to the right because this would be more than that. So this is always a lot of fun, just like all the discussions it leads to on random things. My number 34 is Antiquity, a city building game that's has a lot of stuff going on. Actually, we only played this a couple times, but in the game you're getting resources, building a city, there's a map and you're spreading out, and like everything you do causes pollution, but then everything also you need to have like wood and stuff to do everything. So you keep needing to get the resources to get other resources to build things. And you don't actually know your victory condition until partway through when you choose like what you're doing as your goal, which is kind of neat. There's different types of goals you can go for. And so depending on how your city is turning out, you can go for those different goals. Also, you have your own board where you're building your buildings in each city, and there's a little Tetris type polyomino thing that you're building there. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and I like all the parts of it. So that's why I like Antiquity. And the other Splatter games, I've only played once each, so they're not on my list. My number 33, I don't own. Two Rooms and a Boom is a party game for a lot of people with 2 or more teams. The base teams are red and blue. Red has a bomber and blue has a president. And the red team wins if the bomber and president are together at the end of the game, and the blue team wins if they're not together. There's also gray, neutral people who each have their own special win conditions and lots of characters with different roles and special abilities. But the game is physically played in 2 separate rooms. Everyone is split up into the 2 rooms, and you're having rounds of talking to each other for like 3 minutes. And then between each round, there will be an exchange of hostages. So there's like a leader in each room, and they'll pick people to send over to the other room, and so people will switch, and then in the next round they'll have more information and be talking. So it's like a negotiation talking game where you're physically switching rooms, which is kind of neat. I like playing with a lot of the secret roles. Like, people have different win conditions and people need to share their identities with people in order to win. And so it brings out a lot of talking and like telling people about your roles and making deals and stuff. And that's really cool for a hidden role game, I think. It's also one of the few games that plays like a lot of people well. So it's like one that I want to play when I have more than 10 people, which is rare nowadays. My number 32 is 1880 China. I've got a video on why I like this game. This is an 18XX game set in China. It's a long one, so I haven't played it in a long time. But what I liked about it is that you can own 100% of your company. There's like foreign investors that you can get a lot of money in. There's lots of ways of getting money into your corporation, which is neat. And then you can own 100%. So like you can sneakily get a really good corporation and then own a lot of it. It also has a communism phase where the stock market doesn't move and you can like withhold. There's lots of stuff going on. Stock rounds are also player driven by when you buy trains and stuff. None of this makes sense if you don't play 18XX games though, but like it's a 18XX game that has a lot of interesting rules that work together well, and I really like it. My number 31 is Sleuth, which is basically like Clue without a board. It's a deduction game with cards where you're trying to find a gem. If you like deduction games like Clue, but don't want the rolling of dice and moving around on a board, then that's Sleuth. The deduction is slightly different. You have cards that you play that limit the questions you can ask, like how many of a certain color or a certain number you have. And sometimes you don't have the cards that you want to ask questions for, so it's kind of useless for your turn. But it's like a quick deduction game, unless you play with a lot of players. Don't play this with 7 players, but it's a good Clue alternative. And I really liked Clue growing up, so I like Sleuth. All right, so that's it for this part of the list. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button and subscribe for more videos. If you didn't like it, you can still subscribe for other types of videos if you want. Thanks for watching Board Game Blitz. Bye.